In the first place, there's a hell of a lot of stuff that does not get reported by the mainstream media. Many stories that deal with immigration, environment, labor, human rights, social justice simply get left by the wayside. The mainstream media tend to be all chasing after the same rabbit at the same time. So a lot of the role of what we call an independent reporter, of a reporter who's supported by the people's donations rather than corporate advertising, is to root around, dig around, sometimes just to go and follow and report on a news conference as simple as that, a news conference where we talk about labor rights, to go and deal with parliamentary committees that are looking into changes to immigration rules, to go and have a look at a group of people who are trying to advocate around the environment. None of this really gets the attention of the mainstream media, and that's part of the role of an independent reporter, a big part. I think it's also important that somebody treat what's going on in Parliament not just as political theatre, but as a place where policies are concocted, policies are formed, laws are passed that will actually affect you in your life. I mean, a great example was what happened when this current government introduced all kinds of hugely important changes to environmental laws and regulations, which got vaguely and briefly covered by the mainstream media. In a way, they were hoodwinked by the government's strategy of hiding all those changes into monstrous omnibus bills. And I think one of the roles that an independent reporter like me could play was to deconstruct all that, find out what was really going on, and bring it back to you, bring it back to your life and say, this is affecting your water, your air you breathe. Well, far be it from me to say that somebody should donate to help me stay around here, and I assure you that we're not taking expensive vacations with that. But I think that if you want to have a source of information that's not determined by the marketing policy of big media or by the political pressures that they feel, if you want to have somebody who will actually bother to go and report on changes to our immigration law, changes to our environment law, changes to our labor laws, if you want to have somebody who's going to actually tell you about what's happening in Ottawa in ways that affect your life and where that all comes from and put it in historic context, I'm afraid you're going to have to pay for it. So this is a very important time for ordinary Canadians, for grassroots Canadians, for working Canadians, for concerned Canadians, to pay close attention, to learn about what's really going on. It's one thing to have a negative impression, or a fearsome impression of the people actually in power. It's another thing to understand what they're actually doing and to understand what the opposition is actually proposing and the skills and competences that the opposition brings to potentially replace that government. And I think it's a really important time to have strong voices, competent voices, knowledgeable voices, insight coming from Ottawa to help empower people out there who have big decisions to make coming down the road.